Everybody has a thought or an opinion on what's going on in Iran right now. My thoughts are we will not be sucked into an all-out war, and there will be no ground war. It'll take longer than what we're being told, longer than what a lot of people thought. But imagine this, sitting around a table trying to pick your next leader. And when you do, within a few days, that leader gets unalived. Eventually, somebody's going to come around and say, you know what, enough's enough. Well, that's my thought.
The Pentagon is said to be planning for weeks of ground operations in Iran. Planning. Additional reinforcements are arriving in the region now. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin tells us what it all means tonight.
3,500 sailors and Marines with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit arrived in the Arabian Sea this weekend on the USS Tripoli amphibious assault ship and USS New Orleans amphibious transport dock. Neither has yet crossed through the Strait of Hormuz and are not yet in a position to seize any islands. Consider taking Karg Island, but U.S. bombs recently cratered its landing strip, or ordering an operation to grab nearly 1,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium buried inside the Isfahan tunnels, or to demine the Strait of Hormuz should the Iranians begin laying mines.
Central Command, we're a little further along than we would have expected to be at this point in all the simulations that I've seen.
On Friday, Iran struck the U.S. Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia with ballistic missiles and drones, injuring at least 12 U.S. service members and destroying a valuable U.S. Air Force E-3 Sentry AWACS command and control plane worth about $500 million.
Base deep inside Saudi Arabia points to Iran getting targeting assistance from the Russians, who, according to President Zelensky of Ukraine, took satellite photos of the base 2 days before the strike, Brett.
Despite all of the public posturing you hear from the regime and false reporting, talks are continuing and going well.
Iran allowing 20 additional oil ships through the Strait of Hormuz is an indication, according to President Trump, that discussions to end the war are headed in the right direction.
We're doing extremely well in that negotiation, but you never know with Iran because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up.
While the president referred to discussions with a new and more reasonable regime in a post this morning, he threatens that if a peace deal is not reached shortly, Iran faces the obliteration of all of its electric generating plants, its oil wells, Karg Island, which is a critical fuel hub, and possibly the destruction of desalination plants. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked today if these sites amount to prohibited civilian infrastructure.
This administration and the United States Armed Forces will always act within the confines of the law.
Special Operations intelligence analyst and founder of Power US. He's a drone warfare expert, also a Fox News contributor. Brett, we are made to believe that any operation inside Iran to retrieve what is left of this enriched uranium stockpile would be very costly, very dangerous. It would require a massive footprint of U.S. troops on the ground. If the administration, the intelligence community determines that there is a significant amount there, with or without some kind of a peace deal, do you think an operation like that potentially could be worth it?
Well, I think, Jillian, what we're seeing right now is not necessarily the opening move of a ground war. It's strategic pressure. When you move 3,500 Marines into the Gulf, it's signaling the capability, but not inevitability. Iran is trying to frame this as an invasion publicly because fear and toying with politics is their best deterrent. But the reality is simple. The U.S. is positioning right now for options. And in modern warfare, options equal leverage. But let's be honest, when you strip away all the headlines, the rhetoric, the troop movements, this entire conflict now revolves around one thing, that stockpile of enriched uranium. That is the strategic prize. Air power can destroy infrastructure to an extent. It gets us 80 to 90% of the way there, but it cannot guarantee the elimination of nuclear material, especially when it's buried, dispersed, or shielded. That's why this conversation has shifted from strikes to extraction. That's why this decision is so difficult. If you leave it, Iran can rebuild. If you go get it, you risk escalation. You can bomb a facility, but you can't bomb away nuclear capability. And so that's why this is the decision that could define the war.
Brett,